It's the owner of this dog right here. This is Squirt. If you don't recognize Squirt, he lives right next door to us. He barks non-stop, so we used him to for distraction work. He also bites people. So here's a dog that whenever you knock on the door, again, almost similar to this dog, doesn't stop barking, and this dog also bites. In fact, the first time I met this dog, Squirt ran up and jumped up and bit me on my nuts. That's how I met this dog. So this dog has bitten many people as well. A lot of people have got biting dogs. So the owner's gonna come over to pick up Squirt because Squirt's been here all day helping out. Joelle's been training him just on place command just so they can get through Thanksgiving. And we also want to use this opportunity for stranger protocols. So if someone's gonna come in, and none of these dogs I don't think have met or seen this person. It's our next door neighbor. So it'll be real world. Someone will knock on the door and I'm ready to correct all the dogs. All these dogs have got a history of unwanted behavior. And again, we open up this show, we end this show, this training with always dogs in place. Because this is how your house is supposed to look.
Well, Squirt's in the crate because he's not trained yet.
Right, he's not trained at all.
So, but we put the crate in the main room so he can still get the exposure.
Right. But the biggest thing that people have to remember is, I can't stress this concept of place. If every dog in every family knew place, which means go there, lie down and be quiet and don't rush off if there's a distraction, everybody's life would be better.
I'm not seeing a whole lot out of
what we're doing, as far as what we're doing with Loki, remember watching Loki's intake, which maybe Joelle should put up again, maybe in stories or something as a reminder, maybe tomorrow, or another edited version of it, I don't know. But you'll see.
So Brinley's already noticed Nikki coming.
So Brinley's right here. So that's a proper correction there, and that's a proper correction.
Hello. Who is it? Hi. This is the one that wants to bite everybody right there.
So watch this, everybody, again. And that's why we do a tie back.
Papa's doing good.
Okay, watch this until we get that.
Yep.
Got it? That's what you correct till. You don't worry about the yelling and the screaming and the owing and the oohing. It's no big deal. The dog is not being hurt. This dog would have no problem biting the human that came in. It's no big deal. You notice that this dog right here got one good correction and then needed some guidance to go back into it down. Obviously, the owner of the dog just came in, so this dog is on 24-hour asshole worry. So
no, he wasn't doing great today. Okay. Now he's like, oh, Mama's here.
It's to be expected.
Yeah.
So now, though, and then we have a dog right here that has killed little dogs. And around all of this energy, this dog didn't move. Again, the power of boundaries.
Good job, Squirt.
So Squirt.
We'll do the same thing tomorrow if that works for you.
Sure. Hi.
Yeah.
Here's his thingy too. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you. Thanks. And we'll do the same pickup thing tomorrow too.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Take care.
Good girl, Poppy.
Oh, Poppy.
It was great.
Because I want everybody to know how important the conversation was with Loki. That's possibly the most important thing that's happened this whole week, is this conversation that I just had with Loki. That I was able to sit here and this dog, I can't stress enough. I cannot stress enough. I know it's a little dog. No one can come to this owner's house for the last 3 years. She can't bring her dog anywhere. People can't walk in the house. It's non-stop barking and biting. You saw exactly how to fix it in real time. But that's how you stop barking at the door. Utilize it, train a default place. The dog knows to go to place and lie down. So so this training the alternative behavior, that's not what this is. We're training baseline behavior. Notice I didn't tell her place. Tell him place. Dog was in place. Dog's on a tie back for safety. The dog lunges at people and attacks them. I know it's a little dog, but the little dog like that can harm somebody. Imagine if it was a child. Dog broke, corrected, screamed, still didn't do what it was supposed to do, corrected again at a higher level. Went back to place, still stood up. I lowered it down. I'll watch it over again and I'll MC what I did step by step so I can get the cadence right for everybody. We'll put a clip out tomorrow or the next day. And then I went down to get what? The actual default down.
But let's take a step back though. Loki is e-collar trained already. He's already been to 2 boarding trains. If your dog isn't e-collar trained,
don't just be blasting your dog.
You can absolutely correct for the barking and lunging, but
Right.
then just use leash guidance to put them back on place.
Right. You're not going to be doing what I did, but you can correct for the first time, or I'm sorry, you can correct as many times as the dog is lunging like that, but you're not going to use the e-collar to get the dog to go back to place and lie down because they're not e-collar trained yet.
Right. The barking and lunging is a behavioral issue.
Right.
Place is obedience. They're
right.
two separate
things. So you would correct for the lunging and barking and the continued lunging and barking. Then when the dog stopped, you would stand up, grab the leash, bring back. But the goal is, in a very short time, less than a week, you can do what I just did. Put it this way, by Thanksgiving you can do that. But you have to put the baseline obedience in. And then I lowered the numbers down because Loki was still aroused and nodding it down. And then you saw Loki go from sitting facing this way to moving at that angle and laying down. Now, there's a narrative out there, the dog is shut down. That's the biggest line of bullshit that there is. That's a lie. It's an outright blatant lie. No, the dog is doing the default command. The dog is doing the default command, which is not shut down. None of the dogs are. Do you know how hard it is to shut a dog down? It's very difficult to do. It's extremely difficult to do.
But the stuff we're teaching in this course
It's so basic, though.
is the stuff that's missing from a lot of programs. So Loki's a great example. He's already been to a board and train, and he's still aggressive. They worked on obedience. He knows down, sit, place, recall, but he doesn't know how to not bite people.
And doesn't know how to have a calm state of mind.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so important. I'm huge on consequential training. Remember, we use work. I praise dogs, I use markers, I use verbal commands. But I also just make things suck to do that I don't want them to do. Why? Dogs are smart. That is why.
And Jeff's timing was on point. So it'd be one thing if Loki did that and Jeff was like across the room and didn't have the e-collar in his hand. Then he'd have to be like, no, walk over, get the e-collar, correct. But because Jeff already had the remote, he was ready, his timing was precise.
Right.
As soon as Loki charged, he got the consequence.
And what you're going to hear is, you're going to hear that these all these false narratives, and I always bring them up because I'm aware of them, but also I bring up false narratives never to defend my work, but always to empower owners because they believe the false narratives, therefore they don't do the work, therefore their dog doesn't get better, therefore they keep struggling. So, the dog isn't going to understand why it's being shocked. I guarantee you 100% that it will. Why? Because it stops doing it. It'll stop doing it. It absolutely knows. Why would I intentionally mess up a dog or unintentionally mess up a dog after 20 years? No, I'm only going to do what works. I'm only going to do what works.
We have to retire this one.
So, and
Hold
remember,
on, I don't like how they're staring at each other. I don't like that at all. Look at it. And that sets Brinley off. So she's making like weird eye contact with Brinley. So like we correct that because it sets Brinley off. So you have to sort of like micromanage all these things when you have multiple dogs in a room. Brinley is friendly, but with some dogs,
Brinley's gone after dogs.
she has
before.
been known to go after
Yes,
some
Brinley has
dogs.
definitely gotten into fights before.
Sorry, my spidey senses just like went off. I'm like, I don't like that.
I can move. Brinley.
Well, she's looking for eye contact.
So, Puppy. Puppy, here. Good job. Place.
Sorry guys, this is live training, you just never know. And I see two female dogs staring each other down. It usually doesn't end well, so.
So I'm gonna, I could easily tell her do DOWN, but I'd rather her learn it by the remote. So remember, just a couple of days ago, she didn't even go to place by me walking her there. Now she's actually leaving one place bed, going to another, getting on it without any leash control from me. I know this is only 6 feet, 2 meters, but guess what? It could be 20 feet, it could be 30 feet, it could be 40 feet, but we start at 6 feet. And over the course of the month, you'll see it go farther and farther and farther away. You'll see place to place recall from 20 feet. You'll see recall to place from 30 feet. It all starts here. Everyone's trying to be too big, too quick, without the foundation. That's why we train. This is our training area right here. We train everything in here before we go out to outside for public access. We go from here to public access. It's important.
Hey Ange, will you come just stand over here to see, because even just another person being in the room is a big distraction for Poppy. So while you run her through her obedience, we'll just have Angelo kind of like just walk around.
Sure. Right here, Ange.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you stand like right here? And I'll call Poppy past you.
She's like made of rubber.
Poppy! Poppy, here! Place. Poppy, here!
Wants to go to Angelo.
Place. Notice I'm walking around like this. And as soon as the ink, notice how I did everything I could not to use, and I didn't use the remote because she's not on remote for recall yet, and I just kept moving around. It's like, you're gonna go there underneath your own power. I want the dog to understand what it feels like to go there without leash and without remote right now. What I'm doing is I'm calling shaping the behavior, it's like, this is what I'm gonna want it to look like. I'm not gonna want the dog to dance around the place bed, but it's like, yeah, you're gonna go to a place underneath your own power. All right, Angelo, stand like right there. Poppy, here. Place.
So that's all just verbal. She's under voice control.
Yep.
Want me to stand like in between the place beds so she has to go around me?
Sure. Poppy, here. Poppy, here. So, too much of a distraction. So, no correction because we're just the beginning stages of recall. And I missed the place
You missed the
command.
place, yeah.
Missed place command, right? Try that again, Angelo. Stand right there. Poppy, here. So this is
See how just the littlest things confuses
Poppy,
them.
here. Place. That's it. So tomorrow, guess what I get to work on? Place to place recall with a distraction.
Yep.
All right, buddy, thanks.
And sometimes I think what happens is we don't realize how much the smallest thing
Make a huge,
is a big thing to the
Yes,
dog. So
yes.
maybe you're training and your kid's in the room and you're
Mhm.
like, why is my dog struggling so much?
Right.
Like, well, your kid's in the room.
right. And let's say you had a really fearful, nervous dog. If I had a chair here, but it normally wasn't there, that might be too much of a distraction.
But wait, Ange, come back. Because we've proofed place and we've proofed down. We have not proofed recall yet. So Angelo can now come in the room, dance around. Hi, puppy. Oh, whatever. She shouldn't break place because we've moved her to corrections for that.
So dance
Do you guys
around.
understand the difference? So when you're teaching, low distractions. When you're proofing, high distractions. So see how she can hold place and she's not breaking.
Now let's see, yep, and she's just being silly,
But
which
she
is
should-
fine.
Yeah.
She's a friendly dog.
This is funny. Okay, what is she doing?
She wants your attention.
She wants attention.
Right, so, good, okay, you're done then there, Ash?
Alright.
So that's, again,
Oh my gosh. all wrapped up.
Reminds me of a baby sheep.
Yeah. She's like very awkward. She's like all legs right now. She's at that awkward stage.
Poppy, place.
Now though, let's proof Brinley again for all that jumping nonsense. Do we know Skylar, me, Angela?
Let's have Skylar, because dog jumped on Skylar yesterday.
Right.
So let's do Skylar today. So Skylar, you're going to be outside. We're going to have to shut this. Possibly do a couple of different dogs here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Angelo, after Skylar too, can you put that wig on that your dad wears and you can be a stranger too?
I wear the wig during comedic videos.
That sounded so bad.
All right. So there's no Tuesday night fetish night going on here. All right. Billy, here. Billy, let's go. Good job. Now. Good. So right before they're gonna come in, I'll tell Billy to break, and Billy can do what Billy does. And we'll just see. Break! Break! Billy,
No,
break!
not you,
No.
Poppy.
Come on, Billy, go ahead.
Hello! Hi!
Come on in over here, please, so we can see the camera can pick
Oh
up.
yeah, right. Hi, Granny. Hello. How are you? How are you?
No.
Hi. Look at you. Oh goodness.
Okay, so did we see the, okay, you guys are all set?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's close that door. So you saw the difference between yesterday and today. Brittany was actually hunting down the obedience default command. Brittany was like, oh, I should go to a place when people come in the door. I should not jump on people when they come in the door. So Brittany so we didn't tell the dog, there was no corrections, by the way. So it's not one time, sometimes people say, oh, did you correct the dog? When I correct a dog, you'll know I corrected a dog. I want everyone to understand that. If it doesn't look like I corrected a dog, I probably didn't. Corrections should look like corrections. They should know. Like you would have heard, like remember yesterday's correction where Brittany let out a yelp and popped off? Remember when this dog got corrected? Remember when I used a leash pop on this dog right here? When I correct a dog, you know I correct a dog because I like to correct effectively. Why? Because you saw the difference between, and we haven't role played that since yesterday. You saw yesterday the difference between yesterday's and today's. So that's Joelle, maybe she'll chop that up and she'll show what it looks like, what dogs do now. So I didn't tell Brindley anything. I didn't tell Brindley not to jump. I didn't tell Brindley to stay. Brindley could make its own decision. You know what Brindley did? I need to hunt out maybe a place bed to lie down on. Maybe I'll lie down on the floor. But what I'm not going to do is jump on people anymore. So after one correction, one time, Brindley learned to make the better choice. And the number one thing we say to clients is, you're underwhelming your dog. You're underwhelming your dog. That wasn't a correction. And that's how you stop unwanted behaviors. Obviously, we can also train you on how to proactively train your dog, but most people need help on, great, my dog always does all these great commands, but there's still, and then insert numerous unwanted behaviors, we still have to show them how to stop an unwanted behavior. So that's a great example. So you're seeing a lot of great examples of effective training. You're seeing this dog right here fully understand what they're not supposed to do and understand what they are supposed to do and stop 3 years of living hell for the owner, frankly. Could you imagine no one ever coming over your house? And every delivery person, your dog wants to go through the door. We stopped a dog who's put its owner in the hospital and is in rehab now for 2 solid months. We've stopped the behavior by default to not do that behavior again. And we've got a dog that's brand new that didn't know any commands to start really understanding, oh, I should hang out here and really not care. And then we've got a dog who has unfortunately killed a housemate who's sort of looking like, man, all you guys can do what you want, but I'm just gonna hang back here and chill.